Good morning, everyone. This is Chef Megan here, and hi to all my families who are out there spending more time than usual together. I hope y'all are having fun. So, today we are going to make something that all the kids always want to make in class at school, but we don't do very often, and that is dessert. So, today we are going to make lemon bars. Now, some of you all might feel a little wary of that, and I understand. When I was a kid, I wouldn't have touched a lemon bar with a 10-foot pole. I was more of a chocolate and peanut butter kind of girl myself, but I want y'all to give it a chance. Most kids love that tangy taste of lemons, lime, citrus, and that's really going to come through on these bars and kind of balance the sweetness that we're also going to get from the sugar. So, before we get started, I just wanted to let you know that every time I do one of these, I'm going to link the recipe in the little description about the video so you can get that ahead of time, follow along on your phone, or you can refer to it later when you actually want to make the recipe. So, speaking of recipes, just a little review for all my students. There are two sections to a recipe, and I wonder if you remember what they are. The first section is the ingredients, and the second section is the directions. So right now I'm going to go through the ingredients that we need so that you can get them together, but also to tell you why this recipe is going to be awesome for kids of all ages. It's going to be really fun. So the ingredients that we need are flour, and we are going to be able to get our hands a little bit dirty with the flour, sugar, like I said, baking powder, and salt. But then our fun ingredients are going to be butter. We're going to need our butter to be at room temperature, but we're going to be able to squish and feel that butter pretty soon. We need lemons, which we are going to juice, which is a great activity, and possibly the best part of the activity is when you get to suck on the peel after we've juiced it. Don't forget that. And then lastly, eggs. And everyone loves cracking eggs. It's a great skill to practice. And really, all kids can do it. All right, so those are our ingredients, and now we're going to get started on our recipe. Okay, so the first step of any recipe is going through that ingredients section and doing your prep. So the first step of prepping for a lot of baking recipes is to grease your pan. So we're going to use a 9x13 pan, and you can just take a chunk of butter, another really fun job for kids, and just spread your butter all the way around your pan on the sides and on the bottom. So I'll let you guys do that. I'm not going to show you the whole thing. Another piece of prep that we need to do is to get our butter cut into chunks. And a third, fourth grader, second grader, even a first grader could probably do this with a butter knife really easily, especially since your butter should be out of the fridge for a little while before you start and be at room temperature. So we're going to cut that butter into like 1/2-inch chunks. So we need to cut it in 2 sticks up. The next job, the recipe calls for lemon zest. So if you have a microplane, that's going to be your best bet. So zesting a lemon with a microplane, you're just going to rub it like this, and then the zest comes off in the microplane. We just need a little bit of that. If you don't have a zester, what you could do is use a peeler. This is probably a job for a middle schooler or an adult. Just peel off, trying to get as little of that white as you possibly can. And then once you have the peel, we can try and mince that as tiny as we can. Remember, when we mince, we use that rocking motion. So whichever tool you have, that is fine. Just improvise. There's no reason not to make this recipe. All right, so our next step of prep is going to be to juice our lemons. At school, we use a reamer. Kids remember that motion. I don't have one here. You might not want to have one at your house either. And we're at home, we're with our kids, let's get a little messy anyway. So what I'm going to do is juice right into my liquid measuring cup, because I'm going to want to measure how much I have and how far along I am. This does require 1/2 cup of lemon juice, so that's probably 2 or 3 lemons, maybe 4, depending on how juicy they are. I'm going to use a strainer so the seeds don't get in. If you don't have one, it's fine. Just pick the seeds out with a spoon later. We are very flexible. So you're just going to juice right into that container. Get as much out as you can. And then after that, if you want to, you can try it. And then make sure you throw it back in the trash. Don't juice it anymore. All right, guys, so let's get started making our lemon bars. We are gonna do this the fun way, which involves our hands. So it might sound a little bit different than recipes you might be used to. But, so first to start, we have our measuring cups, our measuring spoons. Now it's really important to remember the difference between cups and spoons. Cups are bigger, spoons are little. We do not want, for example, if it says half teaspoon of salt, we don't want to end up with half a cup of salt in our lemon bars, because that would be pretty gross. So remember, cups are bigger, spoons are smaller. So we need 2 cups of flour. Now, luckily, I am in a situation where we can do a fractions lesson because my cup does not fit in my flour, does not go into the top, but my half cup does. So if I need 2 cups of flour, how many times do I have to do this half cup to get 2 cups? So for instance, how many halves make 1 whole? That's 2, right? And we need 2 wholes. So we're gonna do 4 half cups of flour to make 2 cups. And remember, when you're measuring flour or anything else for baking, you want to level it off and down. So we're gonna do 2, that's 2, 3, and 4. And I am making a mess over here. You better believe it. All right. There's flour everywhere. All right, we need 2 cups of flour, half a cup of sugar. That one fits, so we don't have to do any math this time. And sugar is a little easier to level without the knife, so we're just going to do that. And then we need 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So remember, if you see teaspoon, it means one of these little guys, and we're looking for the 1/4 or 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Add that in, and we're going to whisk all that together. Now, for the fun part, and the part where everyone can get involved, is we're going to add our butter that's already a little soft, already cut into chunks, into this mix. So we have those 2 sticks of butter. We're going to throw it all in here. And now we're going to use our hands. Remember, your hands should already be clean because you're washing them a lot these days, right? So we have clean hands. We're going to stick them into this bowl, and we're just going to squish, 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 squish. You don't want to see any of these big chunks of butter left when you are done. What we are trying to do is get all of this incorporated together. So flour on every bit of butter, everything all mixed together. And your end result should be that you don't have any chunks of butter that are bigger than like peas, like about that size. So I'm gonna work on this while you work on this, and I'll show you the end result when we come back. Okay, hello. So here we are back. This is what our mix looks like. It's pretty crumbly, but if you squeeze it, it sticks together. So that's what we wanna be at with our flour and butter mixture. Now what we're gonna do is take our pan that we already had greased, dump all of this in here, and then you're gonna work to just smash it down. Once again, great job for kids of all ages. So we're gonna smash it down until it's all to the edges, all in a single layer, pretty much the same depth all the way around. And then we're gonna put this in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes. And then we're gonna work on our filling. All right, y'all, so now we are gonna make the filling for our lemon bars. The crust is in the oven right now, baking until it's golden brown. So I already measured out my sugar, need 2 cups of sugar. So we need to add our lemon juice that we juiced before, our lemon zest that we already prepped, and our eggs. So I have my half cup of lemon juice. Now, This is a liquid measuring cup. This is a dry measuring cup. So anytime you're measuring liquids, you want to use one of these. It's more accurate. So we're going to add that to our sugar. I'm going to add the zest that I just kept in my microplane, about a teaspoon. And then now we get to crack our eggs. So like I said, this is fun for all ages, but it's not going to be easy for everyone. There's going to be some shells in that bowl. It's not a big deal. I'm going to show you how to get the shells out too. It's going to happen. You can crack these eggs into a separate bowl, get the shells out, and then put them in. Also, your kids' hands are going to have egg all over them, probably. Just make sure they wash them right away. We don't want raw egg on our hands while we are cooking. But it's all part of the fun, not a big deal. So, we're going to crack our eggs, crack them into the bowl. Let's see if I can see if any shells do fall in here. Yep, totally got a shell in there. So what you're going to do is take your half shell that you have left, and you're going to use that to dig out the shell. And it should stick, yep, it should stick right there. And that is the only way you're going to be able to get it out. You're not going to want to go in there with a spoon with your fingers. It's never coming out of there. So that is your little trick for getting shells out. Finish our last egg. And then we are going to want, and I'm going to wash my hands quick, excuse me. We are going to want to whisk this together. So we're going to use our whisk, and we are going to whisk it for 3 or 4 minutes. Again, all kids love whisking. Probably want to use a little bit bigger bowl than I did so that it doesn't get everywhere. We're going to want to whisk it until it's nice and frothy, nice and bubbly. All right, y'all, so I don't know if your arms are getting tired, but mine are. If we were doing this in class and, you know, pre-K, kindergarten first, we would all be singing, excuse me. So we would say, whisk, Chef Megan, whisk, whisk, Chef Megan, whisk, Chef Megan, whisk, whisk, Chef Megan. And then the next person we get to go. So if you have a lot of kids at home or a few kids at home, that's an easy way to count your turns and make it fair. So once it's pretty bubbly, I don't know if you can see mine, but it's getting there. We are going to add a 1/3 cup of flour. Level that with my finger. Then a 1/2 teaspoon, remember your spoons are over here, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, not baking soda. So, if I can reach in here. All right. Put that in, and then we're gonna whisk it again. Another great time to sing a song. And then we are going to pour this into our crust. I'll show you that in just a moment. All right, y'all, so our crust is out of the oven. As you can see, it's a little brown around the edges, kind of golden on top. And so we're gonna take our nice bubbly filling that we made, and we're gonna pour it on here. Today we are going to use this guy. I have a lot of spatulas. So again, parents, my pan is really hot, so you might wanna do this if your pan is also hot. We don't want little kids around here burning their hands. So we're just gonna pour this on top, scrape everything out, and that is why a spatula is my favorite tool. Gets all the good bits. And then we're gonna take our oven mitts, put this back in the oven, and it takes about 35 to 40 minutes to cook until it's set. And so I will meet you back here after that is done. Bye. All right, y'all, so our lemon bars came out of the oven. As you can see, it's a little brown around the edges and the middle didn't jiggle at all when I took it out. So that's how I knew it was done. And then I put it in the fridge for 4 hours. I know I should have told you that before we got started. This one takes a while. But now we are ready to eat. So now also we get to do something fun and feel like professional pastry chefs. So I'm going to take my strainer again and a little spoon of powdered sugar. dump it in there, and then I'm just gonna shake it all around. It makes my lemon bar look really pretty and really, like I said, professional. All right, y'all, so we've reached the last and the best part of cooking, which is when you get to taste your food. So I have a little bit of our lemon bar here, which I'm gonna try. And I think y'all are gonna like it. It's really good. The bottom crust is nice and crispy. The lemon gives it that sour, and it's sweet too. It's really good. I hope you guys like it. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I hope y'all are cooking. I hope y'all are eating well, and we'll see you again soon. Hang in there.